Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca Lombardo, host of VendorVibes and fractional CMO. Today, I'm here with Ludo from Foxfold. Hello, Ludo.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being on the show. So tell
Thanks
us,
for having
what
me.
is Foxfold?
Foxfold was invented to reinvent what has been for 130 years, which is toilet paper and facial tissues, specifically within hospitality.
Nice. It's time to reinvent after 130 years.
It's been a little while. It's pretty exciting to reinvent something that everyone has known the only function to be a role for their entire life. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to finally reinvent something that has been for so long.
So the next question is, what makes you unique? So go ahead and jump right into that.
Yeah, the 30-second elevator pitch here is that we very simply just question the concept of a role. And maybe it's because, I had at the time when we came up with the idea, a 3 and 5-year-old who would just constantly unwind the role. But the idea was really simple. Instead of it being a role, what if you had to start all over again? And the idea was, well, I would probably have it be an inverted tissue box on the wall. And inside would be interfolded sheets of ultra soft, ultra wide sheets of bamboo toilet paper. And you would just pull one sheet at a time, just like you do with facial tissues and you do with paper towels and everything else. But for some reason, not with toilet paper. And that's what started the journey for us now with Foxfold, where we now have reinvented toilet paper to be in a dispenser on the wall with interfolded sheets. And the same with facial tissues, where we've reinvented facial tissues to be a refillable dispenser instead of a single use cardboard box.
I love hearing this because this comes up a lot with short-term rental stays and hotel stays and everything else. And I can personally identify with the toddler pulling away at the roll. And especially also since COVID, where toilet paper has become a hot commodity, right? And prices of it have actually increased. So I'm curious to know, what do we need to have anything already in place in order to work with Foxhole?
Yeah, so most of the institutions that we work with right now tend to be hospitality in general, but hotels has been our main focus. We do have a handful of Airbnbs and restaurant groups and hair salons and everything else in between, but hotels have been our main focus. And the main reason why, not too dissimilar from Airbnbs as well, is think of the last time you checked into a beautiful property. You can already visualize it now. Beautiful white glowing roll on the wall with the folded edges, sometimes maybe the little sticker on top. And unfortunately, after you're there for just a handful of days, that half-used roll gets pulled back out and thrown in the garbage. The running joke in the industry is they try to use some of those half-used rolls, which is kind of disgusting on its own, but they try to use it in the staff rooms. But unfortunately, the running joke is that the staff can't go to the bathroom fast enough to keep up with the amount of half-used rolls being thrown at them. So to give you a sense of scale, a 200 or 300 room hotel will typically go through anywhere from 30 to 50,000 rolls a year, and almost half of those end up straight back in the garbage, which is terrible for many reasons. Your bottom line, the environment, and so on.
So this is a sustainability issue.
This is unlike most sustainability benefits and stories like solar panels. We also have an incredible ROI benefit of being able to pay back on the technology and the solution that we have within 6 to 12 months, and then lots of other savings down the road as well. So yeah, there's a big sustainability and cost benefit to our solution within that whole space.
So do I need to have a staff person full-time in order to order from you? Do I have to have a certain property management system in order to order from you? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. So, well, first things first, why don't I just show you what the product is and how it works, and then that'll maybe give you some insights on how it would all function. So we have, like I mentioned, two different products. The first is our facial tissue box. So shockingly enough, this is the world's first fully refillable facial tissue box, which how I get to say that in 2024 is still shocking to me, to be perfectly frank. So unlike every other tissue box you've ever seen, which is a cardboard box with a cover on top, this facial tissue box is fully refillable. And the technology is actually not in the dispenser itself, which is beautiful and stunning. The technology is actually in the wrapping of the tissues. So all of the tissues come beautifully paper wrapped. And you very simply just take off the paper wrapper and then refill the unit whenever it's running low. The refills have 100 refills in them, and they're anywhere from 30 to 50% less or cheaper than the alternative, which is in a cardboard box. And then you very simply just refill the unit whenever it's running low. And so now there's no waste. And so you think of like the economics for a housekeeping manager, they very simply just take off the paper wrapper, refill the unit that's in the room, and then what goes in the room stays in the room. There's no need to remove anything back out of the room. So that's the facial tissue box. And then on the toilet paper dispenser, same idea. This is a wall-mounted unit. So this clips into a bracket on the wall. The tissues get dispensed from the bottom, one tissue at a time. This is toilet paper now. So a different tissue, but toilet paper tissue. And then you very simply just refill the unit from the top. So there's a tray inside. It fits 200 extra wide sheets of toilet paper. And the sheets, same as concept as before, come paper wrapped. And so you very simply just take off the paper wrapper, refill the unit, and then very simply just dispense it one sheet at a time.
Thank you
And
for
then,
sharing that.
yeah, and then from like an aesthetic standpoint, a lot more, aesthetically pleasing on the wall versus, your traditional roll of toilet paper that's there.
Okay, this is a weird follow-up question, but like, how do you know if it's getting low?
Yeah, great question. So on the toilet paper dispenser side, as soon as you open the lid, there's a refill line halfway through. And so once you know you're at the refill line, you know to add another pack of paper on top. And so to housekeeping and everyone's benefit, you don't have, we've eliminated the guesswork of when to having to refill the unit. This unit fits about, in the equivalent of a roll, it fits anywhere from 1.5 to 2 rolls equivalent of toilet paper in a dispenser itself. So there's a lot of toilet paper in that one dispenser, even though it looks quite tiny, because you're eliminating all of the wasted space of a roll. You're able to put in a lot more in there. Okay.
So can you tell me about anyone who works with you who's really happy with you right now and why?
Well, what's been really fascinating is, as you can appreciate, it takes some early adopters, but it also takes a bit of a village to change what has been for so long. And it's been amazing to just to tell people, hey, I sell toilet paper for a living, and you get the immediate belly laugh out of someone. But also then like you're serious, like tell me more. And then once I start to explain to them how much more cost effective it is, how much time it saves them, how much less storage it can also take them. For example, on the storage part, we can pack in 2 to 3 times more paper in one cardboard box than you traditionally would with all of these hollow cylinders of air, aka toilet paper rolls. And so it's been really exciting. And to now have lots of customers across Canada and the US who have adopted it, interestingly enough, they have had no feedback from guests, which is not too dissimilar from when we went from the little shampoo bottles to the dispensers on the walls. I think, there wasn't like an overwhelming positive or negative push. It was just people understood that was the sustainable way to go. And now it's being mandated across different states in the US. So this is almost identical, where people are seeing it and they're excited by it. And then they see the sustainability factors that come with it as well. And so we've had like the partners that we've been dealing with so far have been like raving about, beyond the cost savings, have been raving about, their experience with the product so far.
And do you operate in the US, Canada?
Yeah, so US and Canada for now. We have been approached by a lot of other countries, but because we're still relatively new, we've been, laser focused on hospitality across Canada and the US. And so that's been our core focus, with distribution with a few different partners across all the major states right now.
And does it matter what size the company is, or can you work with almost anyone?
So our core focus has definitely been hotels, just because they have size and scale and they're dealing with a lot of the major distributors that we deal with. We will be going live with the facial tissue box on Amazon in about 4 weeks from now. So even if, let's say, you wanted one for your home, we will be in a capacity to be able to help you with that. And so for anyone that might not be a fit at a larger B2B scale, we are, starting conversations with a lot of people who have maybe a smaller need, but are still very, very much interested in the sustainability and cost benefits and all of that right now.
Excellent. And if somebody sees this and wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Yeah, so our website, I think, is a great start. So on our website, foxfold.com, fox as in the animal, and fold because we're folding toilet paper. And the reason why we picked fox, by the way, is it's a global animal affected by deforestation, but it also has some really interesting characteristics where it's cunning, it's edgy, but it's also really soft and fluffy. So it matches our story really, really well. And, side note is foxfold.com was available for a penny, not $1 million, which was, pretty important in the startup world. But foxfold.com is the best way to get in touch with us. You can request a sample, fill out our contact us form, and let us know a little bit more about who you are and what you do. If this is more for your home, then we do have a for your home page where we are collecting email addresses. And the minute that we go live with an Amazon listing, which will be in the next, like I said, 4 or 5 weeks, everyone will be notified, and you'll be able to start ordering from there, both the dispensers and the refills as well.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you coming on to talk about this. This has been great.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time on a Friday to talk toilet paper. It's always fun right before the weekend. So there you go. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Cheers, everyone.